Howdy folks. Well, by now you probably know that I enjoy building kind of survival kits, sort of bug out containers. Occasionally I'm approached by companies to test stuff out or give them my thoughts. The Uncharted company sent me this years ago, and I still have it, using it exactly what it's for. But this particular one I just saw recently, this one and a more advanced one, in a local kind of big box store sitting on a end cap, the end of an aisle. And it was like $395 or something versus $500 and something for the more advanced one. And, you know, at first you kind of want to just laugh and say, haha, you know, somebody who needs to spend that kind of money, they could just, you know, watch a couple of YouTube videos or read a book and build their own. But in reality, there's a reason for these things. And I wanted to do just a quick overview of what's in it. I'm not going to go through each piece. I've done that before in other venues, and it'll take quite a while. But instead, the concept I want to get across is if you don't have something like this, and you easily could make one, but you haven't, then you need something like this. And then what you do is you replace out the pieces as you go. So this is like a jump start or a running start. So anyway, this particular one starts out, this Uncharted one, with a kind of like a dry bag type backpack. We use these a lot in rafting, but much higher end and really thick. Much larger too. We've got sayings on them. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Special ops friend of mine likes to say slow is slow and smooth is fast. But he also likes to say one is one and two is too much. Anyway, so inside this guy, and by the way, this is one of those kind of fold down tops. If you do it right, it's mostly watertight. And it also came with a large Nalgene water bottle. I took that out so it didn't fall down. Good idea. You can't boil water in it, but that's fine. And then it's got basically like this other backpack thing inside it, which is actually full of the survival supplies across their organizational system. Now, immediately if I look at stuff like this and I say, okay, here's their choice of flashlight, whatever that thing is. It's some brand. They've put their logo on it. I immediately upgrade anything that is a flashlight or a cutting tool. If you have a Leatherman, obviously, great. You might leave these in there and then use your Leatherman for daily carry. But I tend to immediately upgrade things, but that can go all the way across this whole kit. And if you don't have anything, or if you've got a couple of pieces, it still makes sense to get something while you can. So, you know, obviously there's their brand of paracord. I've got tons of paracord. I can upgrade that. I would definitely upgrade the knife. This is their kind of survival knife that they include. I imagine it cuts stuff. It's not much of a blade. It's got a big serration. It's more for cutting cordage, etc., because that's really the only blade, and that's not a whole lot there. Fire steel, could upgrade that easily to a larger one, probably a stronger one. I tend to buy these in bulk in 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch diameter, and then long, and then you can really grab them. And a lot of times, if you honestly need something like that, you need it, and your hands are cold, and it might be dark, and you know, you're using whatever bit of metal you have to scrape along it. So little tiny ones, I've snapped these in half, you know, in the cold. But anyway, as you go through stuff like this, you think, gosh, I could do so much better. You know, I look at stuff like this and think that's kind of a toy, but is it better than nothing? Yeah. But is it the best, or is it good enough for, you know, a serious event? No. But if you aren't going to go out and actually build your kit and actually get the pieces and organize them and put them in a way that you can carry them around, then this is where you'd start. And you might realize, you know, that's probably good enough. I've got other shovels, you know, and other implements in my truck. Duct tape, I've also got that in the truck. I will have paracord in various places. You know, tent, blanket, hat, gloves, warmer in here. So I guess I don't know if I consider this really a tent. It looks like a Mylar space blanket, but it's orange. Those are always handy for a lot of different things. Gloves, they give you, a size extra large, which is not that warm. Pair of kind of rubber coated gloves helps. They're a cool little beanie hat with their logo on it. This is polyester. I would probably swap that out for a wool. And then I don't know if you really need this thing on there. But the problem is if you haven't started to put this together, you may want to start out with something like this, which is good to go at a base level, and then start supplementing it until you finally end up with something along this line, which is what often goes in my car. It's a great big, essentially, survival kit in a 511 backpack. If it's something smaller trip, I've got this guy. It's full of more higher end stuff, better knives, etc. Falcon even. It basically is custom designed by me. And I've gotten some 511s. They've given me some of their bags to test out. And I would suggest building one, but if you haven't, if you are still waiting, or you can, but you haven't, that's where these pre-made ones come in handy. And yes, they're expensive, but on the other hand, a couple of my knives and a Leatherman, maybe my trenching shovel, and a pair of gloves, and I've exceeded the price of this thing. Stuff adds up pretty fast. So, if you're thinking about doing it yourself, you're probably going to find, yeah, you probably could, and save a little money. But you put a couple of high-end pieces in there, there's $100 right there, just added, with a Leatherman Wave. It basically raised the price of this entire bag by 25%. Anyway, I'm encouraging you to do this, to have some preparedness. And if you are hesitant or you don't want to get ripped off, you're not getting ripped off. It's a jump start, and then you can upgrade as you need, as you learn more, or as you can add more money to it. But if you haven't done anything, or bare minimum, don't be scared of these kinds of things, the good ones. And with that, Doc out.